What's up, guys? It's Dynamo22, and I have a actual Wi-Fi. I was so shocked by my actually uploading a battle that I forgot to speak words. That's how monumental this is. But this battle is actually from a while ago, back before my summer class started, and I actually had time to, like maybe narrate things and stuff. But So, being long ago, I don't remember who it's against, which is pretty typical. I currently have the house to myself for today and part of tomorrow. So, that would be a possible time for Pokemon doing stuff. I'm currently taking a break from homework because it's killing my mind. I needed something to take my mind off of actual real world application stuff. So we go to Pokemon, which is much more better. But anyways, I'll try and get more battles tomorrow. But Smogon Wi-Fi battle finder thing apparently doesn't exist anymore, so it could be difficult for me to get a battle. That being said, I do have this battle, which I bring to you today. My way of recording it is a little weird, so if it kind of sucks, it's just experimental. Tell me it sucks, now you won't do it ever again. If you don't tell me it sucks, then I might. So it's up to you. But I'm gonna do some team preview thing because I like doing team preview. I like going through some strategy aspect of Pokemon, and we have on my side, I'm of course using Typhlosion because. Alright, let's start with his side first. I like to start with his side first. I don't know why. I'm so out of practice, as you can tell, but I'm busy and I never get time to record, so I'm not going to start this video over. So you can deal with that. On his side of the field, we have Kabutops, which can set up Stealth Rocks and Rapid Spin Mine. Other than that, I'm not really worried about it because the only thing on my team that it can switch into safely would be Furret. Um, Other than that, oh, and if it does switch into Furret safely, I can go into Tangela, and the only thing you can do is mess around with hazards. Next team spot he has is Slowking. Slowking is a giant threat because he pretty much 100% stops Typhlosion, and he's pretty much the only Pokemon in the game who can do that. So my basic strategy of just waste around with 5 guys and then kill everything with Typhlosion is going to be not doing so hot as long as Slowking is still around. He's got a Spiritomb, which is a pain because Sandslash doesn't have a very good shot at Rapid Spinning against Spiritomb. Like it can beat it one-on-one if you play it smart, depending on the sets. But by that point, it's usually dead enough to the point where it gets outsped. It doesn't Rapid Spin or anything else starts the game. Amoonguss. Amoonguss is kind of in between, where like it's a major pain, but at the same time, anything that is weak to fire is just asking for Typhlosion to drop eruptions on your team. Again, the problem is that he has one of the very few things that can take repeated hits from Typhlosion, so I'm gonna have to break through his Regenecore. Sigilyph, I have learned from Pokemon Showdown, is a giant threat. One time, I even had an Absol, and he decided he was gonna set up on an Absol. And he set up Cosmic Powers and roosted in my face for 10 turns of taking Night Slashes before I could get a critical hit. So, if I'm not using Night Slash with Absol, then you know how good my chance of getting a critical hit is. So, basically, I just get destroyed by Sigilyph. And then Excelgor, who I used to think wasn't a threat, but I can't remember what I had that make it not be a threat. Maybe that's because it's been so long since I've played uh, Pokemon that it didn't used to get Giga Drain and I could wall it with Lantern. Maybe that's what used to be the thing. They also, I didn't think they would run Hidden Power Rock, so I also used to be able to wall it with Ladian, but that's a different story. Um, Going on to my team now, we have Typhlosion, because I always use Typhlosion given ample opportunity, and it's a Solar Beam set that I only run. Team spot number 2, we've got Trickscar Furret because Furret is adorable and I don't use them enough, and I use my Pokemon based on how adorable they are. And so I want to give him a go. That's also how Ladian gets into battles. Third spot we have Crawdaunt, who at the time I had this video, at the time I was picking out guys for this battle, I was like, you know what? Every time I use Crawdaunt, he accomplishes things. So Crawdaunt, you have earned a spot on the team. And so since then, it's occurred to me that since I attract Slowkings with Typhlosion, it would be smart to have a Dark type anyways. But I just like Crawdaunt's power, which is rare because I usually use things like Furret, so like actual attack stats just kind of blow me away. Then we have Tangela, because I just like to throw Tangela on teams, and then boom, anything that uses physical attacks is already taken care of. Namely his Kabutops. For this battle, everything else he has is a special attacker, so we have to worry about that. Other than Spiritomb might be physical, we'll have to see. Then, since I can't take special hits very well with Tangela, my favorite specially defensive Pokemon is Lantern. I'm a big fan of Lantern anyways. And then we have to fill it out, of course, with the Rapid Spinner and Stealth Rock User if we're going to be using Typhlosion. So I took about a good 6 minutes starting this video, but again, I like to make my videos, well look, there's me. I like to make my videos long since I upload them not very regularly. Also, I need to stop and pause on this first turn, which I can do because I have these mad recording skills right here. And so he's got Kabutops. We'll let Kabutops finish coming out here. The situation we have is Typhlosion versus Kabutops. Now I have one of 3 options. I can either go for Solar Beam. Solar Beam kills Kabutops all the time, and it's delicious. Basically, every time I ever play with Typhlosion, and the other person has a Kabutops, I will use Eruption, because you always use Eruption with Typhlosion. This will follow by them switching into Eruption because they crowd resist it, and then I blast them off the face of the planet with Solar Beam. And the best part is they don't even bother Aqua Jetting because they assume I'm locked into Eruption and that I wouldn't think of staying in. So I can Solar Beam him into little pieces. The downside to that is obviously I only get 1 Solar Beam per game, and he has a Slowking left. Solar Beam only does like 50% to Slowking, so it's not a reliable way to get rid of it, because with Regenerator and Slack Off, it can usually keep its health above the point where I can pick it off with a Solar Beam. But so there's that to consider. Option number 2 is Focus Blast. It's only 2 times super effective, but it should have the power to take out Kabutops in 1 hit, thus saving both the Power Herb and the fact that I have a Power Herb instead of a choice item. Surprise for later. Problem with Focus Blast is it's basically Splash, wherein if you click Focus Blast, you do nothing and your opponent gets a free turn. So if I were to happen to use Splash with Typhlosion against Kabutops, he then has a myriad of bad things that he can do to me, being water attacks, rock attacks, or stealth rocks, which I'm guessing are 3 of his 4 moves, if not 4 of them. So if he stays in and goes for an attack and uses it, it will be a bad deal for Typhlosion. So that leaves me with option 3. I can not go for the risky play. I can switch into Tangela, since Tangela can freely just wall the crap out of Kabutops the whole game. I am going to decide to use the Focus Blast. It's you know, 70% accurate, which technically means it's supposed to hit more often than it misses. I was so worried, but I decided to play aggressive, which is not like me, because I didn't want, I don't know, I just wanted to kill something with Typhlosion first turn, and also in case he switched, I don't know, just, I wanted to play like that. But I do get the hit, first turn I'm up 6-5, so that's a good start. now he goes into Slowking, and obviously I can't do anything to him here. I thought about going into Crawdaunt, but I was afraid of getting burned by Scald on the switch-in. So I go to Lantern because worst case scenario I can heal Bell. And I've got Special Bulk and I've got Electric type moves, so all things that sound good to me when considering a switch into Slowking. Now here's the part where I kind of wish I had Volt Switch, because that would have made it easy to pick what to go for. But I predicted him to switch out to a Moongus because both Water and Electric would do nothing. So I go for the Ice Beam just to see how much that would do to a Moongus. But he actually chooses to go into Excelgor. And this is where it becomes a problem because I have literally nothing that can hinder Excelgor and its blazing speed. So I decided to stay in, see how much a Giga Drain does, see how much, because my Ice Beam did almost half. I thought maybe with actual stab attack I would be able to you know, do enough to maybe kill him. Unfortunately, Lantern's got a lot of HP and he's going to Giga Drain a lot of that HP from me. We do see he has a Life Orb, which is going to be taking a little bit of his HP away, but not enough for me to kill him. So that leaves me in kind of a pickle here. I decided to stay in with Lantern, take another Giga Drain, and go for the move to finish him off. I should have gone for a Thunderbolt last time. They're the same power and one has a paralysis chance. But he actually gets a higher damage roll. I stayed in because I did the math and I had more HP than he did last time. But of course, you know, that's not always how it works in Pokemon. So I get killed and I'm just like, crap. I sacrificed my Lantern straight for the Excelgor, and it turns out I didn't even kill the Excelgor. So I go into Furret, who's my choice Scarfer, and I look it up and it turns out Adamant Furret is like a little bit slower than max speed Excelgor. So that makes me decide to go for the Sucker Punch. I should have gone for the return. I felt the Sucker Punch was kind of obvious, and you don't want to use Choice Sucker Punch because otherwise bad things happen to you. But of course, I didn't want to take a big hit from the Excelgor on my Furret since I'd already lost Lantern to it. And he goes for Spikes, and I have to switch out, and he gets 2 layers up. Just, you know, all layers of crap. So Typhlosion takes entry hazard damage, which is my least favorite thing. But he also, it's not Stealth Rocks, it's just Spikes, you know, there's that. Here, I decided to just go for a safe Flamethrower instead of messing around with predictions. I thought he might try and Hidden Power Rock me, and if I didn't kill that Excelgor soon, it was going to tear through my team. So I've managed to force it out, but I don't have any hazards up yet, so he can still outspeed and sweep my team if I'm not very careful. So now that Lantern's dead, my next best option, I figured, screw it, I'm going to switch into Crawdaunt. Hope I don't get burned. It's the same % chance as the Focus Blast risk that I took earlier. And, because if I don't play more aggressively, I'm going to get destroyed by that Excelgor now. So, unfortunately, he hits me with a Toxic on the switch, which is the exact not what I wanted to happen. I mean, Burn would be worse, but Toxic is still... Because I'd hoped to take, like, a weak hit, set up a substitute as he either A, switched out, or B, tried to status me, and then get a free Dragon Dance with a substitute, and then just start wrecking face with Crawdaunt. If I had gone for a second Dragon Dance using the substitute, I could have gone through his whole team. But that whole plan never happens because I get Toxic, so instead I decide I don't have time to set up and get forced out and lose HP, and just the Spikes are up and Crawdaunt's gonna die. So I'm gonna start attacking and wall breaking as fast as I can with this thing. He switches Sigilyph into a Crunch, which is one giant threat out of the way for free, so I'm cool with that. He goes into a Moongus now, and since I'm poisoned, I'm fairly confident he's gonna go for a Giga Drain and not a Spore. The only thing I really have for that is Furret. Obviously, I can go into Typhlosion to resist the Giga Drain. That's more Spikes damage, more HP I'm losing out of my Eruption from the Giga Drain, and then he can just go into Slowking again, and then I have to switch out and switch back into something again. That's just a lot of health wasted on Typhlosion for no reason. So I go into Furret. Furret's defenses aren't that good, and he's gonna get 2 hit KO'd by a Giga Drain. So I decide to give the Amoonguss the Choice Scarf, just so if it wants to spore something, it then is it can't sit in and Giga Drain and stuff. And just not being able to switch up moves, I figured was good. Also, it gets rid of his Black Sludge, so he can't heal himself. So my new plan is, since I knew going to Typhlosion would fail for the Slowking reasons before, I'm going to go into Typhlosion, make him go into Slowking, and double switch into Groudon. Because once again, I have to play a lot more aggressive now that I'm behind. So Groudon's going to take some Spikes damage, and, you know, he's still poisoned. So Groudon's HP is being chipped away here, even though he hasn't been hit by any attacks yet. He's down to half. But surprisingly, he chooses Spiritomb to try and take on Typhlosion instead of his much better counter in Slowking. So maybe he saw something like this coming, but Spiritomb is kind of a horrible switch as far as Groudon's concerned, because, like, I resist both Dark and Ghost. So all he has is a weak Shadow Sneak. Again, I'm going to be attacking instead of setting up here. I went for the Waterfall, just trying to get a flinch, but obviously he prioritied, so I couldn't do that. It still puts about half of Spiritomb's health away. So I think he goes for another Shadow Sneak here and lets Spiritomb die, which, yeah, he does, so I'm cool with that. I don't know if this is like maybe Choice Bandage or something. He does, like, I don't know how much Groudon should be taking from that. And if he has leftovers, I wasn't paying enough attention to see it. But Groudon does get another kill, so thus confirming my suspicion. Every time I use Groudon, he does work. And my arms get tired and the camera goes all over there. I'm sorry, that might happen a little bit more towards the end of the video. I apologize. Shut up. Anyways, so I live the poison, so I get one more attack off with Groudon, and dang, I hope it doesn't bother you as much as it's bothering me right now. But so I get a crunch off on the Amoonguss, and that actually does a large chunk of damage. He's gonna go for the hidden power. My initial assumption was ice, but it occurred to me it could be fire because Groudon resists fire too. Obviously I'm gonna die to that. So because he still has the spikes and the Slowking and whatnot, my last three are Sandslash, Tangela, and Typhlosion. Tangela could not do less damage to Amoonguss if it wanted to. So, and I already told you the problem with going to Typhlosion. As long as he has a Slowking around, it's just a waste of my time and health. So I go into Sandslash, and then I have to debate whether I want an Earthquake or Rapid Spin. I decided to Rapid Spin, kind of hoping it was some Power Fire instead of Ice, but I was optimistic. It was obviously Ice. But I actually take that fairly well, which is, you know, I'm glad and a little bit surprised because of how weak Sandslash's defense is. Now this is a play that kind of surprised me. He decides to save his Amoonguss and take a hit with Slowking instead. Maybe he thought I was gonna put Stealth Rocks. I don't know, but even I really felt like he should have gone into Excelgor. I don't know how well he would have taken the Earthquake. He would have resisted it. But then he could have threatened me with a Giga Drain, at which point I probably would have had to gone into Tangela and then hoped I could have taken a Life Orb Bug Buzz, which probably was not, again, as far as my options go, I didn't really have any good ones left at this stage of the battle. So I get to hit this with 2 Earthquakes, and the second one does pretty significantly more. Like, the first one did about a fourth, and after the second one, he's at more than half. And I was actually glad he killed me because I was afraid another Earthquake wouldn't kill him, and then he'd be encouraged to slack off and get back up to more than half. But at this low of HP, I decided to go into Typhlosion and Solar Beam, and I was really worried that the fact that I had 2 Pokemon left, Typhlosion and Tangela, I picked Typhlosion over Tangela to go in against Slowking, would tip off that I had a trap for him. And obviously if he switched out, he would have regenerated up enough to the point where he could have lived the Solar Beam. But I guess he didn't want to switch his other 2 things into an attack from Typhlosion, because they're both weak to fire, I guess. But he's going to go into Excelgor here, and at this point I think I've got the game won because he has 2 things weak to fire left, and I've got Typhlosion. But then it occurred to me that Excelgor outspeeds, and it's in Power Rock, Luckily, no crits or anything, and Typhlosion does have enough HP left to live the Hidden Power Rock, which I wasn't sure because I hadn't fought Life or Excelgor very much. I didn't know how much that was going to do, so I was very thankful when I lived that. Good thing that I haven't been taking more unnecessary spikes damage all those times I mentioned it before. And he has put me into Blaze range, so there's no way this Amoonguss can survive a flamethrower, which is very good because, again, as long as Amoonguss exists, all I can do is quad resist Giga Drain it with Tangela. So that would have ended very poorly for me. So luckily I did get Typhlosion against Amoonguss. That was what I was going for. And this has been high quality battles and low quality with Dynamo22. And I hope you all have a nice day. Feel free to leave a comment and whatnot. And hopefully I will see you again in the future.